When the Odyssey Dawn first cracked through the sulfur clouds of Elnath 9, humanity believed they were standing on the brink of an interstellar alliance. The Zanari, a race older than Earth's written history, had finally agreed to negotiate. After centuries of myths and warnings about their telepathic wrath and biological supremacy, they wanted peace. Or so the diplomats hoped. To Lieutenant Arya Mercer, the youngest xenoanthropologist in the United Coalition fleet, the moment felt like standing at the edge of a star, terrifying, glorious, and incomprehensibly vast. She had spent her entire life studying alien linguistics and cultural structures. Yet none of that stopped her pulse from pounding as the landing bay doors groaned open and a wave of lilac mist rolled in. Beyond it stood the Zanari Honor Guard. 7-foot warriors in iridescent exoskeleton suits, their obsidian eyes reflecting every movement like predatory insects. Their wings lay folded behind them, shimmering with faint violet energy. They were terrifying and beautiful, as if someone had sculpted gods from Starfire and Chiton. But Arya wasn't focused on them. Her gaze fixed on the figure behind them, tall, elegant, and crowned with crystal-like horns that seemed to pulse with life. The alien queen, Zitherus, the one whom every world feared to provoke. Legends claimed she could tear a mind apart with a thought, that her touch carried evolutionary power, and death. No being, not even her own people, had dared lay a hand upon her since the millennia-old Unbinding War, when her touch reshaped the bodies and loyalties of entire armies. Yet she moved with a grace that contradicted violence, her gown flowing like woven nebulae. When the United Coalition delegation approached, every spine stiffened. Every human instinct screamed, "Don't get too close." Even Commander Rowe, veteran of 3 galactic conflicts, looked ready to collapse under the psychic pressure she radiated. Arya's hand trembled, but she held her ground. She wasn't here to fear, she was here to understand. The Queen's voice arrived not through sound, but through thought, smooth as silver silk. "Welcome, travelers of soul. We have waited." Energy rippled across the chamber. The delegates bowed automatically, except Arya. Not because she was defiant, but because she stood frozen under Zitherus's gaze. A pair of deep amethyst eyes locked onto hers, ancient and burning, yet filled with curiosity. Then something whispered across Arya's thoughts. Light, inquisitive, delicate. "You are unshielded, bold, or foolish." Arya swallowed. Probably both, she thought back, unsure if the Queen would hear. A faint hum brushed her consciousness, amusement. The negotiations began, filled with diplomatic pleasantries and veiled threats. The coalition offered technology, trade, scientific partnership. The Zanari offered protection, bioengineering knowledge, psychic harmonics. Yet tension lingered, intangible but suffocating. Some Zanari soldiers shifted like restless predators. Human officers whispered caution to one another. Every breath felt like balancing on a knife edge. And then, without warning, a tremor rippled through the ground. Zitherus flinched. Her crystalline crown flickered violently, as though struck by invisible lightning. She collapsed to one knee, clawed hands clutching her temples. Her honor guards froze in horror, but didn't move to help her. Their wings buzzed, vibrating with distress, but not one dared to touch her sacred form. Human officers panicked, scrambling back. Commander Rowe shouted for defensive stances. Arya didn't think. She just ran. "Lieutenant Mercer." Rowe barked, but she ignored him. She reached the Queen as psychic waves slammed through the hall, shaking the air like a storm trapped inside flesh. Zitherus trembled, talons carving cracks into the crystalline floor. Arya saw pain there. Not rage, not malice, but suffering so raw it made her chest tighten. Without hesitation, she knelt and pressed her hands to the queen's shoulders. Gasps echoed. Weapons lifted. Zanari wings flared like razor-edged sunbursts. Every diplomat stared in horror as Arya touched the Untouchable. A surge of alien energy roared through her. It clawed through her thoughts, diving into memories like a storm of electric feathers. She saw flashes, worlds burning, stars collapsing, Zanari warriors kneeling in oceans of blood, Zitherus screaming into the cosmos as her power spiraled out of control millennia ago. And beneath it all, loneliness. Terrifying, crushing loneliness. "Breathe," Arya whispered, voice shaking. "You're safe." The psychic storm surged, threatening to tear her mind apart. But she held on, grounding herself in every piece of identity she had. Her parents' voices, the hum of Earth's oceans on recordings, the solace of books, the thrill of discovery. She was human. She was herself. Gradually, the energy quieted. Zitherus's form steadied, her breathing slowing. Her crown dimmed to a soft lilac glow. She lifted her head and looked at Arya. Truly looked. "You." Zitherus spoke aloud this time, voice trembling like a star on the edge of collapse. "Why would you risk annihilation?" Arya exhaled shakily. "Because pain isn't something anyone should face alone. Not even a queen." Silence blanketed the hall. Then the queen rose, still holding Arya's arms as though anchoring herself. Around them, Zanari warriors stared in stunned disbelief, wings drooping in reverence. Some knelt. Even humans lowered their weapons, unsure if they had just witnessed death, or the birth of something unprecedented. Zitherus's voice returned to Arya's mind, softer than starlight. "For centuries, none dared lay hand nor spirit upon me. They feared to become changed, corrupted, subjugated." Arya met her gaze. "I didn't think about what might happen. I just saw someone in pain." The queen's lips curved into something between awe and sorrow. "And that is why you succeeded." When she released Arya, the hall felt different, lighter, as though the entire structure exhaled. Zitherus addressed the diplomats again, her voice steadier but tinged with a new warmth. "Let it be known, humanity does not approach with fear, but with heart." She turned to Arya. "And courage where empire and eternity have bred caution." Arya blushed. I didn't mean to interrupt diplomacy. You did more." The queen extended her hand, not to test but to offer. The first gesture of unity her species had made in thousands of years. "You reminded us of what we lost." Arya hesitated only long enough to ensure she wasn't hallucinating. Then she took the queen's hand. Gasps echoed again, but this time not in horror, in wonder. A new wave of energy flowed, not violent, but harmonious, like twin galaxies brushing edges without colliding. Zitherus lifted her chin. "The Zanari recognize the courage of humankind. We open our minds and borders. Let our alliance begin not through fear, but touch." The diplomatic hall erupted, not in chaos but applause. Zanari wings shimmered in salute. Humans cheered and exhaled long-held breaths. And Arya, heart still pounding, realized she had forever altered the tides of galactic history simply by reaching out when everyone else recoiled. Years later, historians would claim treaties forged, technologies shared, and peace blossomed because of strategic brilliance or mutual benefit. But those who witnessed it knew the truth. Interstellar peace did not begin with armies or laws. It began the moment one human dared to touch an alien queen who had known nothing but isolation, and showed her she was not alone. And the galaxy would never be the same.